Right, freezing panes. This is something that I don't see often. I don't see used often enough, and actually sometimes to people's detriment. I'll show you what I mean by that. If you've got a table of data like I've got here, it's not necessarily a table, but it's not formatted as a table, but it's in the same layout. And you got your headers at the top, and as you scroll down, all of a sudden you get far down to the bottom and you can't see what your headers are because they've disappeared off the page. It gets a little bit frustrating. What you can do is you can actually, if we click on that cell there and we say view freeze panes, and use the top freeze pane option. The top freeze pane option is based on where you've actually currently selected when you do the freeze pane. So because I've selected there, it'll keep it right at the left. And if I select freeze panes, what happens now is everything above it and to the left is frozen. So if I scroll across, it lets me scroll across as normal. But if I scroll down, it hides it behind there. So I can now see all the data with the headers in place, and when I scroll down, I don't lose the header. The other thing, while I'm on this, I've mentioned this elsewhere, but that's one other reason why I suggest instead of totaling these totals at the bottom, I would actually total them at the top. So when you scroll down, you can still see your totals, and you don't actually have to scroll right down to the bottom to see the totals. They're always in view wherever you scroll. The other option with a freeze pane is let's just unfreeze it. Is you can even come and set it over here, for example, freeze pane, which means now when you scroll across, it keeps the A in place. So in this case, it's not necessarily that useful, but imagine you had a whole bunch of columns going off the page and you couldn't see them. When you then scroll across, what will happen now is even if you scroll right across and you've got more columns of data here, you're still able to see who that data refers to. So imagine you had staff names down here with a whole bunch of detail across, or client names, or whatever the case might be. As you scroll across, you can still see who they are. And as you scroll down, you can still see this important column on the left. So this also makes you think about how you're going to lay this out. You want to keep the important data to the left. You want to keep potentially the less important data to the right. Or at least when I say important, what I mean is the data that you need to be able to refer to know who the rest of this data is about. So the freeze panes can be very, very useful in order to lock this in place so that you can actually scroll and still see what it is you need to see. You can still see the headers. You can still see the details for each line. And at any point, you can just come and say unfreeze and just clear the whole setting if you want to carry on working on it, and then reset it once you're done. Even if the workbook is locked, even if you purchase a workbook, like if you purchase a spreadsheet from me, for example, and it's locked, you can still come and lock and unlock freeze panes to view what it is that you want to view. There are some other ones where you can, the top row, there are some other ones where you can split and hide, but I won't go into that now. The freeze panes is very useful to use, and I use it on almost all of my spreadsheets, and it can come in very handy for you. So I hope that that's helpful to you. Thank you. Bye-bye.